All right, let's talk about a workplace hazard that's super common, potentially life-changing, but we often just ignore it until it's way too late. I'm talking about noise. And it is so much more than just an annoyance. It's a real risk we have to get serious about.
So let's just get right to it with a really direct question. I want you to think about your average day at work. The sounds, the machines, the general environment. Is it possible that the noise you hear day in and day out is doing permanent harm? Well, the answer might actually shock you. So let's get into why this silent danger needs your full attention, starting now.
First things first, we've got to change how we even think about noise at work. It's not just about something being loud, it's about it being dangerous. Seriously, this isn't just an inconvenience we have to put up with, it is a full-blown occupational hazard. Now, here's the really weird thing about it. The injury itself, the actual hearing loss, it just kind of creeps up on you silently. There's no blood, no broken bones, nothing to see. But the damage? Oh, it is absolutely permanent. But here's the flip side, and this is the good news. It's almost totally preventable. And look, you don't have to take my word for it. This quote is straight from OSHA. That's the Occupational Safety and Health Administration. They call it one of the most common illnesses that workers face. That just shows you how huge of a problem this really is.
So how does this even happen? How can a sound physically cause damage that never heals? Well, to get that, we need to take a quick look inside the human ear to see exactly what's on the line.
Okay, look at this. Deep inside your ear, you've got this little snail-shaped thing called the cochlea. And inside of that are thousands of these teeny tiny microscopic hair cells. Now, these aren't like the hair on your head. They're super delicate nerve endings that turn vibrations into electrical signals that your brain understands as sound. They're literally how you hear. And this is the most important part of this entire conversation. Unlike pretty much any other cell in your body, these little guys do not grow back. They can't be repaired. So every single one that gets flattened or destroyed by loud noise is a piece of your hearing that you have lost for good. There's no rewind button.
So what does that permanent damage actually feel like in the real world? Well, we're talking about noise-induced hearing loss, or NIHL for short. It could also mean getting tinnitus. That's that constant maddening ringing or buzzing sound in your ears that just never stops. And over time, it can make it really, really hard to follow a conversation, which can be incredibly isolating. And to see how this plays out, check this out. There was this real-life case of a metal fabricator who was around loud noises every day for about a decade, and he didn't have consistent hearing protection. The results? He ended up with permanent hearing loss and that life-altering tinnitus we just talked about. This stuff isn't just theory, it's happening to people every day. Now, I know that all sounds pretty grim, but here's the good news. There is a really powerful system in place designed to stop this from happening. It's not a guessing game. OSHA has a very clear, detailed standard that's basically a safety net for workers.
The whole thing kicks off with a concept called the action level. You can think of it like a tripwire. It's a specific noise level where, if you're exposed to it long enough, your employer is legally required to step in and launch a full-on hearing protection plan.
And here is the number, the one number you absolutely need to remember. 85 decibels averaged over an 8-hour workday. If the noise you're around hits that level, that's it. The safety plan has to kick into gear. It is the official line in the sand.
So what's in that plan? It's a whole 5-part system called a hearing conservation program. Basically, your employer has to monitor the noise levels. You get regular hearing tests. They provide you with protection. You get training, kind of like what we're doing right now, and they have to keep records of all of it. It's the whole shebang.
Okay, so now let's get into the really practical stuff. The part you have direct control over. We're talking about your personal hearing protection toolkit. Knowing your gear is what really makes this all work.
Now take a look at this. If you're using the most common kind of protection, these little foam earplugs, your technique is everything. Just kind of mushing them into your ear? Yeah, that does next to nothing. You have to roll them up tight, pull your ear up and back to straighten out the ear canal, and then slide it in so it can expand and create a perfect seal. A bad fit means bad protection. Simple as that.
But hey, you're not just stuck with foam plugs. You've got options. There's a whole world of gear out there. From big over-ear earmuffs, which are great if you're taking them on and off all day, to these custom-molded plugs that are made to fit the exact shape of your ear. The most important thing is finding something that works for you and your job, that's comfortable and that you'll actually wear.
So, earplugs or earmuffs? Which one's better?
Well, it really depends on the situation. Plugs are super lightweight and great if you're in a tight spot. Earmuffs, on the other hand, can be way easier to get a good, consistent seal with, and they're perfect for those intermittent noises where you're putting them on and taking them off a lot. Knowing the pros and cons helps you pick the right tool for the job.
And all of this brings us to our last section, which is honestly the most critical piece of the whole puzzle. Protecting your hearing, it's not just your boss's job, and it's not just your job either. It's a partnership. It's a shared responsibility.
This little table lays it all out perfectly. Look, your employer's role is to provide the training, provide the gear, and do the hearing tests. Your role, to actually use the gear the right way every single time, to show up for those hearing tests, and, this is a big one, to speak up and report any changes you notice in your hearing, like ringing or if sounds seem muffled. It absolutely has to be a two-way street.
And so, we're going to end right where we started, with a question for you. We know the science, we know the rules are there, and the tools are available. But at the end of the day, you only get one pair of ears for your entire life. The hearing you lose today is gone forever. So what are you going to do, starting right now today, to make sure you protect them?